Today we're going to talk a little bit about a dog ear style fence and gate. So I'm just going to walk through here and I'll show you the back. Here's the gate. You have kind of your standard latch here. You know, most people just settle for these guys. You know, standard little black latch. Very simple to open, you know. Sometimes a handle... Okay, time for some WD-40. Sometimes a handle is, you know, even a little less convenient than this latch, actually. Imagine you're holding things or something and you just kind of flick it up, open it. The standard simple latch is sometimes better to go with, maybe not as high security, you know, but for something where the entire other side is open with driveway, you know, the security factor isn't such a huge thing here. So here we have a stained redwood dog ear fence. So the dog ear is just referring to this style of fence. You know, it's kind of your cheaper option for wood. It's a rough wood, rough texture. So it's not a nice smooth cedar we're looking at here. But you know, a redwood is a solid option for fences. And you know, it runs all the way through here. It steps up a little bit. 6 feet tall you want to stay at most of the time, right here. And yeah, for backyards and stuff, 6 feet, there's just no gray area for a backyard 6 foot tall fence, right? If you start getting taller than that, city and permits and stuff might be involved with that, you know. So we stick to 6 feet. Runs all the way through here. We did a nice chocolate colored stain on it, a solid colored stain on it. You really want to use that solid stain in more sunny areas and stuff because it just lasts longer and all sorts of stuff. Redwood, again, redwood and cedar are kind of like your standard choices for wood. They just last a long time. Redwood is very termite resistant. Runs all the way through here. They also had an existing fence up there. You know, we were working with budget and all sorts of things. A lot of times we really want to help customers with budget and all that, but there's only so many things we can do. So that was existing. There were a couple really warped boards up there. I believe it was a pine, so a pine wood really does warp a lot more than a redwood or a cedar does. So we actually just took out the boards that weren't looking too great, replaced them with some nice straight boards, and then stained it so it matches all the way through. Now, you know, for privacy's sake and for budget concerns and all sorts of stuff, a dog ear fence is the way to go. You know, we can get into other smoother redwoods, smoother cedars, horizontal styles, or you could do a vertical, having the framed edge up on top, you know. So you have a board coming this way and down, right? And then you can do, on each post, you can have a little cap for that kind of style, you know. So with a more simple style here, there are other styles we can go with, but either way, it looks nice with a nice solid stain. If you go with more transparent, semi-transparent type stains, you know, you do have to stain it more often because it just fades a lot easier. If you do just even just an oil type stain where it gives you just a bright color to it and just brings out the color of the wood, that's even more on the staining, you know. So sometimes if you really want the low maintenance, let's just stain it like a nice solid chocolate brown or something like that, or a dark red, and that'll get you longevity with your fence. That's it.